Hello everyone, welcome to your first Rhino tutorial, and this is where we're going to learn about how to navigate in the program and how the program basically works, and like just a few introduction and interface explanation about how the program works and stuff like that. So first thing you want to do is just open your Rhino. When you first open the Rhino, you have like a welcome screen. If you just ignore it, you'll be fine to just disappear by itself. First thing you notice, we have four windows here. We have the perspective, we have the top view, we have the front view, we have the right view. And if you click, you notice here is dark blue, here it's a little bit light blue. So if say I'm working here, then you can notice the color changes to darker blue. Same thing goes here. So if you just double click on your perspective, you can see that our window is much larger and we can see a lot better into the program. Now to orbit, you just have to click your right mouse button and move your mouse like left and right, or drag it, and you can see that you can orbit easily around the view. If you click in the or if you scroll your mouse wheel forward and backward, you can see that we can zoom in and out. Now if you hit shift and then the right mouse button, you can see that we can pan through the view. Now the most important thing with any 3D program is to actually learn how to navigate and see the model from different views, and it's like, I think the most important thing to know at the beginning for any 3D program. So first thing you notice, we have here the file, the edit, the view, curve, lots of lists. The second thing you see here is a command line. The command line, well, this one here is just like the history of the command, and here is where you actually click the command. It's very close to how AutoCAD works, if you ever worked with AutoCAD before. And the thing with Rhino, it just like, it combines what 3D Max and like all the 3D modeling software does with AutoCAD. Now I know that AutoCAD does 3D modeling, but I think Rhino does it easier, and it actually gives more, it's much more flexible with what you can do with your 3D objects and your solids. So the way I'm going to explain Rhino is basically divided into three parts. I'm going to explain the curves, the lines, and polylines. Then I'll explain surfaces, and then I will explain solids. So if, let's say in the command line you want a line, so just click line. First thing you notice, well, two things you notice. Actually, the mouse has turned into some like cross with a point in the middle. You can also see we have lots of options in our command. Like both sides normal. So let's say I want to draw a line now without clicking anything. So just click this. I want the line from here to here. You're done. That's it. This is a line. So let's go back to line again. So if you want one of these, like we can say I want the line to draw on both sides. So there's two ways. Either type D, hit enter, and you're directly there. Or if you click on the command itself, like both sides, you can just use that in your like to do the both sides command. Okay, next thing you see is we have here a bunch of other ribbons or panels with all the commands and icons. So you have like solid tools, surface tools, curve tools, stuff like that. This one here you might not have it because this is the V-Ray command bar or whatever, and you only get it if you have the plugin for V-Ray inside the Rhino. Now Rhino can render. If you go here to render, go to your current renderer, you have the Rhino render and you have the V-Ray for Rhino. If you have the V-Ray, you just have to click here to make it render for V-Ray. If not, then I think this is the only thing you can use. Okay, other thing is we have here a bunch of other commands. Now this is like the most used command, the basic commands you're going to use a lot in the future when you're building your 3D models. Okay, so we have here like select, we have points, we have lines. If you notice, there's like this little triangle here. This means that we have more commands in it. So if you just click and hold on your click and then just start navigating around it, you'll be fine. You can also move this little window, and you have them separated from the command itself. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we're done with that. We have also, we can see here our top view, right view, all are down here in this bar. And if you want the all four again, you just double click on your perspective and you can have all four windows again. Okay, so go down here and you can see that there's something here that says millimeters. Millimeters is the units we're actually working on now in our current Rhino. Now I really prefer working with meters. So just right click, hit unit settings, and then go to here, see model units, change it to meters, and down here display precision is 1.00, which is like 12 meters 50 centimeters or 17 meters 26 centimeters, something like that. Okay, and it says model change, just like no, and everything stays the same, but the grid we have now, it's like 1 meter, so this is 5, so 5 meters by 5 meters. If you can see here, we have small lines, and from here to here is 1 meter, from here to here is 1 meter. Okay, the second one here, you see, this one is the OSNAP list. Now, if you're using Rhino for the first time, you might not see this. What you have to do is just click here on OSNAP. So if the font is a bit bold, that means we're actually we're using the command itself. If not, if it's like this, then the command is disabled. So click on OSNAP, and you can have here like a bunch of options. I usually pick the first 6, I think, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 commands. I think that I use them a lot, and if I find there's a need for other ones, I usually click them. Now here, project, don't click it. I won't advise clicking it now or ever. I rarely use it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The grid snap, if you click on it, you can see that if I want to draw a line, now there's two ways. You can either write line in your command or just click here. Now this here is a polyline, and the difference between polyline and line is basically the same thing as okay, when you're done, you can just hit space or your right mouse button. The polyline, it creates an entire series of lines that are connected together, and the line, you can just draw one line. That's pretty much it. So yeah, it's exactly like what line and polyline does in AutoCAD. So what grid snap does is that, let's say I want to draw a polyline, you can see that you're snapping actually to all the little lines or the intersections of your grid. So we have here it's snapping here, it's snapping here, and it might make your work easier, but at the same time it could make your work a bit harder. So I personally don't use grid snap because I know how to do measurements. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do measurements. Let's say I have a polyline. So I just type in polyline. I want it to start from here, and I want it to be, let's say, I don't know, 10 meters. So I just click or type in 10, hit enter, and you can see that my line is locked on 10 meters. So I click once and I'll be fine. Now if I want to get out of the polyline, I can just hit spacebar and I'm done, or the right mouse button does the same thing. Okay, yeah, let's say I want to draw another polyline. So if you just click on your right mouse button again, you can see that you can start the polyline command. Usually the right mouse button repeats what your last command was. And if you notice here, we can see like how much is the measurement. So let's say I want something from here to here, but I'm not sure how much they are. You can see down here it's like 16 meters. So yeah, it's a really easy guide to understand how the length of your line. Okay. Now escape does the same thing. Like if you want to get out of a command or anything, you can use escape. Let's say I draw like this and I want to escape. It just deletes everything. It's basically like AutoCAD, like so similar to how AutoCAD works. The ortho is the same thing as the AutoCAD, which makes it perpendicular to your axis. And the OSNAP, I just explained it. The other ones, not so important now. Now you're gonna have a panel here. Some programs might, or like when you first open it, some of them have it, some of them don't. But it's a really important properties window. So just right click, hit show toolbar, and find layers. So here, and then click outside the window. You can see that we have a layer panel or layer window, whatever this is. Click in the first one, and you can see you have this entire panel pop up. Now this is the properties, this is the layers, this is the display, and this is the help. Now just delete this, and you have this really helpful panel right here. Okay, so you have to be really careful with your units, because sometimes when you import 3D models, they could be in millimeters, they could be in meters, and it could really be annoying when you have different units and you try to import them together, and it's either too small for the model or too huge, and you just have to rescale the whole thing again. And yeah, sometimes it's okay to just scale it, sometimes it's not that easy, but I would prefer working with meters. I mean, I like meters a lot, and I think it's the easiest one to work with. I mean, even rendering, when you render, like, I don't know why it affects, but it does. Or maybe it's just me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Next tutorial will be about curves, lines, stuff like that, so I'll see you next tutorial.